The United Nations Security Council has condemned the Israeli attack on the Qatari capital Doha on Tuesday and called for de-escalation. So hang on. This is really crucial or something. All 5 members signed off on this condemnation. I see, that's the detail. Do you understand the weight of that animation budget? The US signed off on the condemnation. The US has abandoned Israel for the purpose of this statement at the UNSC Security Council. Bro, the US veto is the reason, many argue, the reason that Israel hasn't been thrown straight out of the United Nations. You don't deserve to be a country. Many say, literally, there's been cases made that the actions conducted by the Israeli state, you should be temporarily suspended as a nation member of the UN General Assembly. But no way that would pass, because the US would simply veto it, right? The US is the reason many more agree, even Western countries. The US is the reason that Palestine is not a fully recognized member state yet, because recognition of an entity as a nation state officially by the UN General Assembly, so it gets a permanent normal seat at the UN General Assembly, because that hasn't happened, because the US can veto any such move on behalf of Israel, right? As long as Israel doesn't feel comfortable, I'm not comfortable, I don't feel safe enough yet, Palestine doesn't get to be a country, right? For the US, therefore, to not veto this Security Council statement shows Israel may have actually gone a bit too far. So far that even their blind support, blank check providing APAC funded, handled USA ally has to pull away from Israeli support. Now, this all comes as Netanyahu warned Qatar. The audacity. He warned Qatar. After attacking Qatar, he warned Qatar, saying that whoever in the region harbors Palestinian resistance elements, I'm paraphrasing, he used different words, but whoever harbors these elements, let those nations get rid of them themselves, or we, the providers of justice and experts in victimhood and self-defense. He didn't say this part at all, not even paraphrased. But we, Israel, will step in and get rid of them for you. You're welcome. I'll send you a bill afterwards. Don't worry. Right? Now, geopolitically, let me translate what Netanyahu's warning actually means, because the common person won't understand the geopolitical diplomatic speak. When you translate it, national administrations completely understand, but they won't often share that with the people, because national administrations don't make TikTok videos in a box home office in London with sarcasm and meandering thrown in for free. Right. Now, that public announcement by Netanyahu, I'll translate now. What that basically means is, this is my interpretation, of course, it's not fact. What it means is Israel is saying, we are not playing by the rules anymore. We don't mean humanitarian rules. We broke those rules years ago. We broke those rules when we established ourselves as a country. We broke those rules harder a couple of years ago in Gaza. We're not talking about humanitarian rules. We mean diplomatically, where even enemies agree to keeping lines of communication open, having a space where they put their guns down, come and sit and just talk. Ban that, bruv, right? We don't need to negotiate. We don't need to announce any ceasefires. Screw the hostages. We don't need them, right? We're burning that bridge. That's basically the translation by my analytical assessment of Netanyahu's words. Why do I translate Netanyahu's words this way? Because he's saying to the Middle East region, right? To the countries in this space, watch this space, right? To the countries in this space, he's saying political figures of the Palestinian resistance aren't safe, and the soil that they are on, that country is not safe, right? We can't guarantee we won't attack you. And I remind you, the US, Israel, Qatar, they agreed that Qatar would host Palestinian resistance officials for the purpose of diplomatic communications, right? Israel agreed to having the Palestinian people there in Qatar so that they can communicate. Qatar, the attacks in Qatar were not an attack on militants, right? This wasn't a command center or a base of military operations or a hospital or a bakery. Israel gets confused between the four. It was a diplomatic delegation who were in a political bureau that Qatar and US and Israel agreed to. So any comments you see from Israelis that basically say, why was Qatar harboring, fighters, right? That's the Israeli spin, by the way. That's the comment. Oh, Qatar shouldn't have been hosting, these T group fighters, right? You're not doing anything, guys. You're not doing anything. Right? Sit down. Your state agreed to have those fighters there. You can't just. Why would you agree and then just airstrike them? It makes. It's a complete lie. It's the Israeli spin, which is part of the Western spin, of course. It's a specific flavor of Western spin, but it's also just a complete lie. Israel speaking through Qatar, speaking to resistance officials, is how hostages were returned, for example, to Israel. How previous ceasefires, previous humanitarian pauses were agreed. If you can't speak to your enemy, how are you going to stop the fighting ever? So Israel agreed to Qatar hosting the Palestinian resistance fighters. That's the last time I'll beat that dead horse, basically. So targeting them a couple of days ago is burning a bridge by Israel. So translated, Netanyahu's statement basically says, no more diplomacy, no more hostage negotiations, bun them, we don't care about them. We never did, but he's not saying that. But he's saying no more hostage negotiations in the sense that, well, how are you going to negotiate for hostages if you kill the person you're negotiating with, right? No more Trump deals, no more Israel suggested ceasefire deals, peace proposals, ban it all. Anyone harboring officials of the resistance is a legitimate target, basically. He's basically making that threat. The Middle East, guys, is in a bad place, a bad situation. If you're a civilian trying to, stay alive, right? I'll keep you posted on the news and the analysis, unbiased, of course, and without the Western spin. Watch my page for my future videos. I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.